What's going on, guys? This particular video is for our Canadians upstairs neighbors. Now, what I'm going to say is for education and entertainment purposes only. I'm only going to go into it a little bit. I'll talk more about this in full on my other YouTube channel, Badwolf Unrestricted. Now, it absolutely sucks what the powers that be and governmentality has done and did to the Canadian people, especially as far back as when the truckers, their food, their money, their livelihoods were cut off in that fashion, and all in the name of them wanting what's good, right for the people. Hopefully, you guys up there will elect a good leader. I don't know where you guys are at right now. I don't follow quite as much as I some used to. I do know that there's a guy, what is his name? Pierre Pouvier. I think he's one of the leaders of one of your provinces up there. Hello to my Canadian friends in Alberta and Montreal. Um, so that got me thinking because so when Canadian people have reached out to me and they ask me, can they do some of the stuff that we're talking about? Um, you guys have to understand that when it comes to every other country, I don't fully know how your laws and things work. I don't even know how all of ours work. I'm still learning. So don't take it as dismissive when I'm like, yeah, I can't really help you guys. And you guys also have to understand that like we have a constitution in place and then the United States corporate overlay. I don't know how your systems work. I know you guys have providences and whatever else, and then you have your government. So when it comes to you guys in any other country, the only things I can tell you guys to look forward, look toward and or look for would be religious freedoms. So you guys can look and see what your nation, country, how they regard religious freedoms. If not religious freedoms, then you have to look forward to international rights under the International Convention, under the VCCR. Okay. And if not that, then you could try to look at indigenous rights. I mean, you were born on the real soil and land, and that they should respect indigenous rights. But here's the thing, say you're like in the UK or whatever else, like you're those people are literally property of the king. Like your butt meat, if you're born there, is their butt meat. Now you can say, well, I should have some individual rights, private rights, whatever else, but there you guys aren't born free. You're born first as property to the king or the queen, the crown. You're owned. So the sad and hard part is that like, you guys would have to as a people get together and draft up what you would like to see done and present that in such a non-belligerent, non-combatant way, work together as a people and say, hey, these are the things, these are the changes we would like to see in place. Otherwise, they're definitely not going to change because why would they? An abuser never changes. They almost never, especially a system, is only going to change to better itself, not for you. Some real abusers, all right, for instance, my father, um, only started to change when he got so old that the fight and fire in him started to go out. Years, a couple of years before he passed away. So you can't sit around and bank your life on that, which is another reason why I don't understand like why some of these females out here are like, Well, but I guess I understand because a lot of them, since they were young females, young girls, got used to that, or their first loves were abusers. So they think every guy is like that. And no, all men are not like that. Those are adult-sized boys that you dealt with. A lot of them also want to argue about, oh, a real man this, a real man that. I can tell by the fact that you've said that you've never actually even had a real man, nor do you probably have a good father in your life or a father figure. Because if you were raised by a real man, you wouldn't even need to say all that stuff. You wouldn't be out there showing your ass and acting a fool. And don't misunderstand. There are some males out there who act, like an ass as well. So I'm not just putting it all out there, but we all need to have better discernment in who we pick to be people in our life, and especially people we allow in our lives, mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, energetically, financially, whatever it is. We all need to have better discernment and keep our distance from people who are going to destroy, take, or mess with our peace and peace of mind. But I digress. So I'll talk more about relationships and all that stuff, whether people like it or not. But it's on my Bad Wolf unrestricted channel or my TikTok under James C Lovett or the Bad Wolf. Find me over there talking about that stuff too, a little more in detail and in depth. So, as I always tell people, whether you're watching this channel or any other stuff, if any of these things, information hurts you, it's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring awareness to males and females about how they act so that you guys can live a better life. And if you are hurt somewhere, tear gone, sad no more. It just means that you need to work on that spot within you. And if you choose to live a better life, take it, use it. Maybe it'll benefit you now. Maybe it'll benefit you in 20 years. I don't know. But so I know in Canada there's a guy who operates like me up there, and he goes by the YouTube moniker A Warrior's Call, I believe, or something like that. Now I don't know if he's, I haven't researched him. I've just listened to some of his stuff to learn a little bit about how you guys move up there. And yes, some of the stuff I have and talk about here, it's the same system that they're doing all around the world because these cabal and elite are doing this by corporatizing all of these nations from the land into the corporate status, and they're essentially corporately taking over the entire planet using the same methods. So, all of these things generally can be used in different places around the world, but some places, and I'm not going to put myself on any new list by saying to what level the people will have to be joined eye to eye, putting their differences aside, not listening to social engineering, but work together to petition in a hopefully non-belligerent, non-combatant way to get things changed. And if they don't change, well, then I'll say it like this to avoid being, looked at in a certain light by certain countries who I'm sure their leaders watch my channels too. Then you guys might have to do some very American things. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say, educationally speaking. All right then? Okay. Bye bye then. So, will some things work? Yes, and some things won't. What I want to tell the American or the Canadian people, one of the tactics that you guys can use, because I know you guys use these as well. Here's one of the tactics that you Canadians can use that if you're going to be now, see, from my understanding, a lot of these people were truckers, and you guys had like some of them had like were farmers and whatever else. So you guys at least had your own farm and food, and even though you couldn't access money, you guys could live off the land. Unfortunately, here in the United States, or in the States, as you guys call it, it's kind of funny. We call them semis, but you guys call them semis up there. It's kind of funny. Um, One of the tactics that you guys can use in general, hypothetically, if such events were to occur again, is to create a trust. Now, you're probably like, Wolf, or hey, Wolf there. No, I'm just kidding, just kidding. Um, so hypothetically, so we'll talk about the truckers, right? So they cut off your funds and things of that nature. Well, what if you guys, like many of us in the private here, who want to separate our assets from certain, let's say, a tax, we put our stuff in trust. So, what if you guys were to put or create bank accounts that were held in trust that you guys, you and say maybe your lady or whoever, um, were the trustees over it? You have all of your money that you accumulate put into this trust account, and you run your life through a trust. I think they might find it pretty hard to shut down your trust when they don't they your your trustees. It's not your personal bank account. Maybe you should have two things. Maybe you should have a personal bank account and a trust account. Or put your money in a bank account in another country, say America. You could do that too. See, as Canadians, you guys, if you don't know this, you guys can get what we refer to through our IRS as a 98 number. A 98 number is also referred to as a foreign grantor number. And I have a video on that. It's actually labeled how to properly get a 98 a foreign 98 number. Why? Because with that 98 number, you guys can do business down here. And for the people who already come down here from Canada who know about it, they're using it already. So there's nothing illegal about it. You get a 98 number. You guys could also create a trust based here in America and essentially operate business. But you would have to get find a bank that might be EIN only. Okay. So that's another thing you'd have to look for. So what they would do is they would then say, well, we need to see an ID from where you're based in. Okay, well, as long as you're telling them that you live in Canada and you guys do, and you get a 98 number, and you come to one of our banks or online, you scan your ID and show them that you're from Canada, they will let you open up an EIN only bank account with the 98 number here to do business. And technically, hypothetically, which is what we're talking about here, you have just opened up a bank account in a foreign land where if that's where your money is being pulled from, and it's also in American, so you may or may not get the exchange rate, so keep that in mind. But you would be able to qualify for a debit card, which is usable up there, MasterCard or whatever else, and you may not have to worry about certain, like I said, I don't know how your governments work, provinces and this and that's all that great stuff. But I'm just saying, if you're experiencing a particular type of politically based, monarch type of attack from your providence or your local whatever, I don't know how it works up there. I'm just saying that you guys, either through a trust or a 498 American bank account or other land out there, you guys would be somewhat immune to such attacks. It might turn off your personal one, but I don't know how the laws work up there. But if you have a business or a trust account where you don't own it, because remember, you don't own a trust, and then I mean, but I believe your laws would say that you have the right to operate that trust and spend money on trust things. Just saying. I mean, it could be wrong. I don't, like I said, I don't know Canadian laws. I don't know how things work. I'm just throwing it out there for some of my Canadian viewers who keep asking me. So I'm pretty sure those things could work. But remember, we're not condoning anything to be done illegally or fraudulently. So don't do anything like that. And I assume no responsibility. How you move, how you use my information is up to you. Do your own research because once again, I don't know Canadian law or things of that nature. So it's up to you. Anyway, to my Canadian friends or friends who want to share this with people who are their Canadian friends, that's all I got. I'll talk to you guys later. Be wise out there, be safe, take care of yourselves. And it's getting cold out there, so put your toque on. I'll talk to you guys later.